Hey everybody. I'm in another video and I've had to remove it and revamping it a bit. Uh, and unfortunately had a name of a local church in it, which I am trying to be very cautious not to include in my videos. The name of any churches at this point unless God leads me otherwise. It also had my personal phone number in it, which I don't want out over the internet. So I've had to revamp it. And so I'm remaking it. I've been trying to get in contact with a pastor at a local church for quite some time now. I've been confronted by a lot of obstructionism or obstructionists. Now, I don't know if this is by design by the lead pastor of this church, who, by the way, doesn't like being called pastor, even though that's the name God gives them. The name God gives you is not good enough. Anyway, God has given me a message to deliver to this person. And this church at one time, years ago, I attended this church. And I saw a great moving of the Holy Spirit. That has since left. It was a small church at one time. The building got hit by lightning, so they had to rebuild. And it has become a large church. I mean, very big. And I've been to this church recently, been inside, looked around, saw the, I won't call it a sanctuary. It looked more like a Roman Colosseum. Stairs and steps going up, looking down upon the arena. And I remember the pastor that's there when he first came there. And I remember the Holy Spirit moving in that church. And gradually it began to change. He got a hold of the formula that a lot of the mega churches are using and began using it in this church. Now, when you walk into the church, seeing a pastor, any of the pastors, is difficult at best. You will be confronted by a receptionist, pleasant though she may be, that she will defer you to one of the pastor's secretaries. She'll come out and be pleasant and friendly. And in my case, walking in the door one day, I was confronted by, I call him the human wall. He's got to be 6'4" minimum. And 3 levels. And at first, this pastor was approachable. I delivered the message to him, the warnings, and then God gave me a new message for him. He's going to be called out of that church. He's going to be faced with a choice. Basic choice is this: stand in the graveyard or come out and preach to the living. I know God's going to call him out. He's going to have a last days ministry, and it's going to be big, but the time is short for it. And I know I'm supposed to deliver that message to him in person, not voicemail, not email, or anything else. I have been largely unsuccessful in getting through to him. I can't get past the various levels. When I go into the church, I get stopped by the receptionist, stopped by the secretary, stopped by the big guy. When I call, I get the receptionist, I get transferred to the secretary's voicemail, and the message that I leave on that voicemail never gets through to the pastor. The secretary, the last time I was in there, 2 weeks ago, approximately 2 or 3, took my name and phone number and said they'd give me a call, and I've never heard 2 words from this woman. I believe this pastor to be a good man of God, has a heart seeking for the Lord, and I've been somewhat anguished over the fact that I've been unable to make contact with him. So I can give his first name. His name's Jason. Super nice guy, and I know he loves the Lord. I pray that he gets in contact with me before it's too late. I've done all I can do. I've delivered the packet with all the information of what's coming. Um, I don't know what else I can do other than pray. So pray, folks. Pray that God will get through to him, that he will get in contact with me, and we can get past all the obstructions that are in our way. I'm not going to call it a church. I'm going to say that building. Like I said, the sanctuary is not a sanctuary. It looks like a Roman Coliseum. It looks like a nightclub. It's got all the flashy lights and fancy hanging lights, and I'm surprised that they don't have smog machines, or fog machines, or whatever you call them. So, but anyways, that being said, I have to move on to two dreams that I had, and these dreams were pretty serious, pretty severe. All of you know that I have a heart for our military, for our law enforcement. Law enforcement's not included in this dream, but I say pray for them. Watch over our officers and support them. If you see an officer, walk up, shake his hand, and tell him thank you. Thank you for your service. And ask him if it's okay. Can you pray for him right there? Don't matter where it's at. I don't care if you're in the middle of a convenience store, a grocery store, a parking lot, but ask if you can pray for him. Pray for his safety. Pray for his salvation. Pray for God give him wisdom and strength to do the job that he's elected to do. Because they volunteer to do that job, just like our military. And no, they don't get paid enough. So show them respect. With regards to our nation's military, you guys are all in my prayers. Those currently serving, those who have served, for our nation's veterans. POW, MIA. Don't forget. And but the dream I had with regards to our veterans and our military was not good. It's hard for me to talk about, but I'm going to attempt to do so. The dream I had, I saw a cemetery. It was larger than Arlington National Cemetery. It was filled with white crosses, just like Arlington. And on each cross was a soldier's helmet. And his weapon was leaning up against it. And wandering through this gigantic graveyard, it's just enormous size, were people, mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, sons, daughters, aunts, uncles, families, wailing and weeping and looking, trying to find where their loved one was laid to rest. And I believe there's something in the works. For those in our military currently who are of good conscience, for Christians in our military, for our veterans, we've seen that they have, we have a waiting list of 950,000 veterans trying to get help at the VA. They're on a waiting list. There should be no waiting list for these men and women. They've allowed some to just die. We have veterans committing suicide every day. They over-medicate them to the point to where, we had one young man that I know of personally that, he overdosed. He's dead. They don't want veterans around. They're going after their guns. Why? Because our nation's veterans swore an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States of America, and no one has ever relieved them of that oath. They consider that oath sacred, and it is, because God gave us this nation. And there are powers that be, things in play, and they are going after our military. So keep them in prayer. Keep them in prayer that God will watch over them and give them strength and wisdom. Guys, men and women, keep your head on a swivel, because they're after you. Whether you're in the military, or whether you have already served and you're a veteran. Just please be safe, because we need you. We need every one of you. The other dream that I had was of a wave, and it approached the East Coast, the West Coast, and the Gulf Coast, and it was huge. It's like I was the wave, and it was larger than the buildings. And when it hit, it caused absolute mass devastation. I mean, hundreds of thousands of people were dead. I have a awesome sister in the Lord who lives on the West Coast. She knows who she is, and I have warned her about what's coming. You know, we all know about the massive Cascadia earthquake that they're calling for, 9.2, 9.0. It's going to level everything west of I-5. And along with that's going to be a tsunami wave of epic proportions. I don't know when it's going to happen. But if you live along the coast, be alert. Keep your eyes open. That's all I have to say. God bless everyone. Bye.